The anthem, Uganda, Uganda, Mungu imarisha, twakupa ujao wetu, kwa umoja na uhuru tusimame imara. Uganda, nchi uhuru, pendo juhudi twakupa, pamoja na majirani tutaishi kwa amani. Uganda, nchi tulishayo, kwa duadi ya rutuba, tutalinda daima ruru ya taji la Afrika. Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu zote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Uzalendo pia mushikamano viwe msingi wa umoja wetu, na tulinde uhuru na amani, mila zetu na desturi zetu. Jumuiya yetu zote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Viwandani na hata mashambani, tufanye kazi zote kwa makini, tujitoe kwa hali na mali, tuijenge jumuiya bora. Jumuiya yetu zote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. A prayer. I invite the representative of religious leaders come here and lead us in a prayer. Sister Scovia Kengeiga, the head teacher of Parombo SS in Nebi district. You are most welcome.
Let us humble ourselves and we put ourselves in the hands of the Lord as we pray. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Loving Father, we want to thank and praise you for the gift of this day. We thank you for protection and for journey mercies you have granted to each one of us up to here safely. As we gather here as one family, We call upon you to be with us. Send us your Holy Spirit to guide, protect, and direct the discussions of tonight. In a special way, we thank you for the gift of leadership in this country at all levels, especially for our President, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. We thank you for all that he has done, all enablers he has put in place to enable socio-economic development in this country. Guide him, give him your spirit of wisdom, that he leads, as he leads your country, he may lead your people in the spirit of wisdom, guided by you. We ask all this through Christ our Lord. Thank you very much. I remain Sister Scovia Kengiga, head teacher, Parombo Secondary School in Nebi District.
I request you take your seat. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda and the Commander-in-Chief of Uganda People's Defense Forces and the Fountain of Honor, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the First Lady and Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, Mama Janeti, Director, National Leadership Institute, Kyangwanzi, Brigadier General Charles Kisembo, the senior management from the Education, Minister of Education, the Private Secretary to the President in charge of Youth Affairs, Ms. Seku Helen, who has also been coordinating this program together with Nali, the co-senior from Nali side, Major Masera, the senior officers present and junior officers from National Leadership Institute, Kyangwanzi, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Mwesige Rwabujumbure, Head of Faculty and Academics at the National Leadership Institute, Kyangwanzi. I'm also the co-MC of this significant ceremony. My MC is here, who is Madam Seku Helen. At an appropriate time, I will invite her to take over. Your Excellency, allow me to briefly read the flow of events. We have already received the prayer from the representative of religious leaders led by Sister Scovia Kengaiga. Now, I'm going to invite a representative of head teachers who is going to read the head teacher's memorandum. But before I do that, there will be also an interlude after her in a chori dance. Then there will be an overview of the head teacher's retreat or training. And this one is going to be presented by Private Secretary to the President in charge of Youth Affairs. Then after that, there will be remarks by the Director Nali and the speech from the Minister of Education and Sports, and thereafter the speech by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda. And after that, there will be the anthem, one stanza in a reverse order, and the photo of opportunity. Allow me now to invite the representative of the head teachers to come here and read the memorandum. Please, oiko wapi? Chimbia. Okay. Your Excellency, the participants went through the skills at arms. You can see how she's saluting the basic military drills, and she has ably demonstrated.
This is the memorandum of head teachers of the Greater North presented to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, the Commander-in-Chief of our mighty UPDF, the Fountain of Honor, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, together with Mama Janet Kataha Museveni, who is also the Minister of Education and Sports. All ministers here present, the Director, National Leadership Institute, Chankwanzi, all the Army Generals here present, my fellow participants from the retreat, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Okwir Pamela Peace, the head teacher of La Rose Seed Secondary School in Gulu City. Your Excellency, allow me, on behalf of the head teachers from the Greater North, to express our deep and immense gratitude for giving us a special invitation to this retreat at the National Leadership Institute, Chankwanzi. Your Excellency, we feel deeply honored and we don't take this for granted. Asante sana. Secondly, Your Excellency, allow me to sincerely thank the Director of Nali, Brigadier General Charles Kisembo, and his entire staff for the high level of respect and professionalism with which they handled us. Your Excellency, I can assure you that even when the morning runs were tedious and difficult for us, they respectfully encouraged us. And we kept on doing the oyaba, oyaba, you know, we felt good. So we thank you with your staff. May God bless you all, and please keep it up. Thirdly, allow me to also thank the Private Secretary, Youth Affairs from States House, Madam Helen here with us, with her entire team. She not only coordinated the retreat so well by inviting, but also invited very high caliber presenters with whom, Your Excellency, we had great interactions. And we learned a lot. I can assure you that we are not going back the same way we came. Your Excellency, I say this with all the confidence because our 10 days retreat has taught us a lot of things. I would like to highlight just a few, not all. We learned from the retreat, Your Excellency, that this government has a very clear ideology for socio-economic transformation of its people. For example, the parish development model. This time we learned it in depth and we have appreciated it more. Secondly, we also understood that the state of Uganda's economy and the root cause of our problems is in the structure of the economy that was established long ago by the colonial government. We however appreciate your efforts and struggles towards changing the status quo. Your Excellency, we also appreciated that there is need for us Ugandans to get the real issues behind the things we hear. There is need for a mindset change. I can assure you, like I said, we are not going back the way we came. We've had some deep mindset change. We also learned that as head teachers, we have a duty to instill in our learners the love for our country. That is patriotism. Your Excellency, we believe that the learners listen to us, the teachers, more than they do listen to their parents. Now we've agreed that as we go back, our slogan will change. Uganda first is our slogan. and that we plan to instill in our learners. We were also enlightened that the center of gravity in the fight against poverty, which is a problem in our country, is we, the people. Besides the natural resources that Uganda has endowed us with, and the government enablers that the NRM government has adequately provided, for example, peace and stability, we, as the people of Uganda, has the biggest role to play if we should fight poverty, rather than blaming so-and-so or the government or someone else. Your Excellency, we've also learned that we should use what we have really to better our own lives. The resources we have around us, the enabling environment you have created is to our advantage, that if we work hard, we shall not be poor like many people. We can always better our lives and focus on the future. We also learned just yesterday that discipline is a prerequisite for excellence, and that we head teachers should impart discipline in our learners, not just our learners, but also to the teachers we work with, and as well the communities in which we live. But Your Excellency, we were able to appreciate that we ourselves must have discipline as head teachers, because we believe that a person can only give what he has. So if we don't have discipline ourselves, we may not be able to give. We should therefore have discipline. Lastly, we got personal empowerment skills that included morning runs, exercises. We are going back to our schools feeling more fit than we came. The military drills, Your Excellency, we had was the most exciting of all. We had the gun shooting experience, and you'll appreciate that some of us only held the gun for the first time. And when we fired those blank bullets, we started feeling like we are even ready now to go and fight at a war front. Your Excellency, for this we thank our mighty UPDF. We thank them so much for the empowerment they gave us and the confidence we now feel around a gun. We no longer feel fear. We are confident. Most importantly, Your Excellency, in our retreat, we've had time to reflect and rethink about the many misconceptions we could have had before. We would like to particularly recommend to you that you extend this invitation to the head teachers in the other regions of the country and other stakeholders. We don't want to benefit alone. We think that more people should begin to appreciate the national ideology and become more productive citizens. Because as we are going back home, we believe we are now better citizens, more productive. Your Excellency, would equally be much grateful if you called us back to Chankwanzi next year for another rap, so that it doesn't stop on this. Your Excellency, as the Greater North, we would like to thank the NRM government for the tremendous efforts of liberating our country, Uganda, and applaud you particularly for the following key achievements, very brief and few, just a few. One, as a region, Your Excellency, we want to appreciate you for the prevailing peace and stability. Your Excellency, we are all aware that our region was disadvantaged for many years, but with you and our mighty UPDF, we now sleep even with the door open. We are sure that we'll wake up alive. Secondly, allow me to appreciate your unique approach that you exhibited in the fight, especially against COVID. It was different from what many countries embarked on, and that approach gave us very big strides. We admire that leadership, sir, and we thank you so much. We also would like to appreciate and thank the introduction of the parish development model that is coming to empower our communities. We also now know that we have a role to play to let and gather the community, gather the support towards the implementation of this model. They listen to us a lot. They trust us more than they trust other stakeholders, and we pledge that we shall do. Also, the improvement of school infrastructures and grant aiding secondary schools and establishing some seed schools in sub-counties in our region. This, we thank you, Your Excellency. We also want to thank you for the harmonized salary structure of secondary school head teachers and their deputies. It is a good thing. Asante sana! Let me also mention the improvement in teachers' salaries, especially the recent enhancements of science teachers in secondary schools. This is a big stride for which we really say thank you. Your Excellency, your generosity and open door policy of hosting refugee communities promotes the spirit of Pan-Africanism. I will not say that the person saying Asante Sana is a history teacher because she knows a lot about Pan-Africanism, but as teachers, we appreciate this and we thank you for it. Your Excellency, the refugees that you have allowed to come to our country freely have attracted very many NGO agencies. These NGOs are supporting the refugee communities, but they are also supporting the host communities, including our schools. For this, we say thank you. Your Excellency, we would like to, however, bring to your attention the following challenges that the schools in our region are facing and a few proposed solutions that we have. Number one, we have inadequate classrooms, sir. We have inadequate libraries, science and ICT laboratories. This could have eased the implementation of the lower secondary curriculum. Now, we propose and humbly request, sir, that construction and equipping classrooms, libraries, science and ICT laboratories in the region be done to ease the work. Secondly, we are having few teachers and non-teaching staff on government payroll in our region. So we request, Your Excellency, that filling staff gaps using the suitable school-based recruitment method be implemented to help us do the work better. There is also lack of special needs secondary schools in our regions. And now we humbly appeal to you, Your Excellency, that there are some special needs schools that already exist. We only request that they be equipped better. For example, we have Nancy Comprehensive School of the Deaf in Lira. We have Mvara Secondary School in Arua, and Gulu High School has a unit for the blind. But the units are ill-equipped. It makes our students with special needs have difficulty in accessing the opportunities to learn. Your Excellency, we also have that teachers from the Greater North have not benefited much from the Teachers' Circle. Our proposal is that the Teachers' Circles, the money for Teachers' Circle be channeled directly to the Walimu district circles and not through the microfinance. Your Excellency, if I may mention this a bit, we've had problems accessing the money via the microfinance. So we think if it goes directly to the Walimu district circles, the teachers will benefit more and it will achieve its intended use. Your Excellency, the other problem we have is that many seed schools in our region have taken too long without being coded and constructed. Your Excellency, I am one of such head teachers who work in a seed school that has not yet been coded. I work with teachers that government is not yet paying, and it's a seed school. It is difficult, is all I can say, working in such an environment. Our appeal is that government does the coding and recruitment of staff in these seed secondary schools, so that a school like Myla Rose Seed Secondary School can also benefit and we serve the community better. Most private schools in the Greater North have not benefited much from the COVID-19 Relief Fund, Your Excellency. And we humbly appeal to you that the post-COVID-19 Relief Fund for private schools be availed for the schools so that they can recover faster from the shock that COVID-19 gave to most of the schools. Your Excellency, the other problem we have, which I think cuts across the country, is the issue of food. There is food crisis in our schools. And this has affected the handling of the lunch meal policy that our line ministry has brought. There has been much food crisis. The prices are so high. And now we are thinking that if the schools that have got land, there are these traditional schools which have got plenty of land just lying idle, not being used. If such schools could be supported, Your Excellency, we are thinking of implementing the 4-acre model farming at school level. This, we think, would not only help us to solve the food crisis, but also act as a model site for the community to come, visit, and appreciate the 4-acre model and engage in it more. Many of our rural schools, Your Excellency, lack electricity. And we all know that with the new lower secondary curriculum, ICT is an issue. ICT implementation without electricity is a problem. So we humbly appeal to you that installation of solar panels in rural schools should be done to ease the operation of ICT and science laboratories. Lastly, but not the least, Your Excellency, we've had very rampant drug abuse, increased incidences of drug abuse among our students, and this has led to increased occurrence of strikes, vandalism of school property, and as head teachers, we are equally concerned of the quality of citizens that we see roaming the streets after dropping out of school. We are worried, Your Excellency. We are thinking that there should be a multi-sectoral approach to fight drug abuse in schools. But also, probably we could put up more remand homes so that the other ones who have not yet started using drugs can see where their friends are going and they retreat. If that can help, we would appreciate. Your Excellency, as we conclude, we will humbly request you to consider the salary enhancement for the remaining teachers so that we balance the boat. Your Excellency, we are going to hand over a copy of this memorandum to Madame Seku, who is our direct link to you, a link to you, between you and us, that has been lacking a lot. Even when we have issues, getting to you is a problem. But now through her, we believe that talking to our father and mother will be eased. We shall hand over a copy of this to you. Once again, allow me to say thank you very much for honoring us with this retreat, Your Excellency. God bless you abundantly. God bless the teachers. God bless our country, Uganda. I say all these for God and my country. I remain Okwi Pamela Peace, the name Okwi coming from one of your loyal servants, Muzee Seme Okwi.
Let us give her a thunderous round of applause. Asante sana. Thank you, Okwi. Next on the program, Your Excellency, is a cultural dance. It's short in Acholi. It is from Acholi sub-region. Please, I invite you in front here. Come and entertain Your Excellency and Mama Janet. You're most welcome. Yeah, asante sana. Thank you so much, the head teachers, for entertaining His Excellency. Your Excellency, next on program is the overview of the head teachers retreat. And to give these remarks is the private secretary of the president in charge of youth affairs, Madam Seko. Helen, please, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Michael MC. I'm by name Seko Helen, the Private Secretary for Youth Affairs, State House, and who has been also the coordinator for this retreat. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Honorable First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports, all the invited guests, the Commandant Nali, to the participants, all the Nali staff and all invited guests. Good evening. Your Excellency, before you are head teachers from the sub-regions of Acholi, Lango, and West Nile, who have been undergoing an ideological mindset change workshop for the last 10 days at Chankwanzi, Nali. They are 300 in number, 53 being females. This training has been so unique that it has even attracted religious leaders. I believe when they depart from here, the religious leaders are going to be multipurpose. They shall preach the right ideological message in church at the same time in their schools. The training has been having 5 sisters who took part, who are also head teachers, with 4 priests, 3 brothers, 1 sheikh, and 3 UPDF officers. Your Excellency, I also have to confess, I didn't know even UPDF officers can be head teachers. This is a motivation for the many youth out there, the youths who would want to join UPDF and are also teachers. Asante sana. Your Excellency, we have had a very good presentation from different facilitators who are persons of great value. To mention among the few, Right Honorable Richard Todrong, the Secretary General, who officially opened up the workshop and gave a lecture on the party ideology. We also had a lecture about the benefits of the regional hubs to the schools and the community by the State House Controller, Ms. Jane Bariche. We also had a lecture by the Permanent Secretary and Secretary to Treasury, Mr. Ramadan Ngobi, who labored to answer most of the salary-related questions to the head teachers. There was a lecture by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, and her team of commissioners who spent an entire day answering questions and so inquisitive questions from the teachers that cooled their tempers and brought them to order. We had a lecture from Lieutenant General Peter Eleru, the Deputy CDF. We also had a lecture by Major General Henry Masiko, the Chief Political Commissar of the mighty UPDF, who gave a lecture on the foundation of patriotism ideology. They also got a lecture by Major General Sam Kavuma, the Deputy Coordinator, Operation Wealth Creation, who encouraged them and gave them skills of how to outcome poverty. They had a lecture by Brigadier Henry Soki, the head of the Anti-Corruption Unit, who challenged them and gave them a lecture about transparency and accountability in schools. There was also a lecture by Brigadier Charles Kisembo, our host, who has been so good to the teachers, who gave them a lecture on mindset change and other many course units. There was also a representative from the local government who came to educate the teachers about the parish model development, how it's beneficial to the community, to the learners, and to the teachers themselves. There was also a lecture about financial literacy, guiding the teachers on how they can save with the little resources that they have. Your Excellency, sir, the head teachers have received a very important dose of knowledge, and they have committed themselves that after here, they will go to their respective areas and they shall be our disciples or foot soldiers on ground. The teachers have got a slogan that because they are, so the nation is. We believe these few who have been here are going to be our ambassadors on ground, and they shall preach the right message and ideology to the learners. Your Excellency, in the Bible, Jesus Christ started with only 12 disciples. We have started this mission with 300 head teachers. It means our gospel is going to spread very fast like a wildfire. And I believe the head teachers who are here, who have gotten the ideological mindset change wisdom, shall not remain the same, and neither shall our children be the same. Your Excellency, allow me to report that these head teachers confessed that with the knowledge that they have benefited, they are going to preach and do their best to turn the children to become citizens of value in the country. Thank you, sir, for all the support that you have provided towards this cause, and thank you for entrusting me to coordinate the task. You are the originator and the author of this idea, and you single-handedly sponsored it, with Madam Controller giving in a hand. The participants are very happy and for all the support, the buses, and to inform the participants that after here, those who are going for the ASHU meeting, His Excellency provided the buses fully. They are going to transport you up to Untare School, Mbarara, where you're going for the ASHU meeting. Asante sana. Your Excellency, with much confidence, I say, these teachers are going to be our first fruit and ambassadors who are going to preach the door-to-door mission of ideological mindset change and patriotism, where patriotism shall go from church to class, from class to the community and everyone around us, whereby we are going to revive Uganda with fresh minds and fresh brain thinking. Your Excellency, I thank the regional coordinators, one of them being Mr. Okene from Gulu, who helped me to connect me to all the head teachers around Gulu and Acholi sub-region. There is also Madame Rose Nangwale from Lango, who didn't make it, but she sent her representative. Then I have coordinators from West Nile, this being Mr. Sweet Kind Drani Umeme from West Nile. There is Mr. Omito James from Nebi. There is Mr. Amandi Michael from Moyo, who helped me to coordinate Zombo Ajumani up to Paida. Your Excellency, I also have a team of youth volunteers who ensured that we work hand in hand to ensure that this program becomes a success. My volunteering youth, may you stand up for HE's recognition. Asante sana. Your Excellency, I would also like to thank Madam Controller, for she did not let us down, for all the kind of support that you gave her to deliver. It was well delivered. I also thank Dr. Kihurankuba Ruchumika, who gave me 3 bulls on your behalf to give to the participants for the campfire. And he was very willing to come and give them a lecture. Unfortunately, he got involved into a terrible accident on his way from Fort Potro to Muvende last week. So he did not make it, but the bulls were delivered at Chankwanzi. And for the next training, they will enjoy the campfire. Since the bulls came in late, we could not slaughter. Your Excellency, I would like to thank Brigadier Kisembo Charles and his entire team for the tireless job that has made this day a success. I say asante sana. Your Excellency, sir, this is not my time for the speech. However, I would like to invite Brigadier Kisembo, who shall invite Mama to give a wonderful lecture. Before Brigadier comes, Your Excellency, I'm really humbled that you have brought Mama. These people are demanding me every day that they would not feel happy to go back to the north without seeing Mama and interacting with her. Mama, we are really humbled to host you today. And they sent me to welcome you in their language that Afoyo Bino. The ones for Arua told me to say, Karibu Muke. And I'm also adding in on mine. Webale no jaja, webalo kwiza. Your Excellency, I remain your submitted Muzukulu, Seku Helen, PS Youth Affairs, and the coordinator for this program. For God and my country, thank you so much. Asante sana. At this juncture, I would like to invite Brigadier Kisembo to come and take us forth. Karibu sana. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda and Commander-in-Chief of the UPDF, the First Lady, Mama Janet Kataha Museveni, Nali staff, Private Secretary of Youth Affairs, head teachers, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Your Excellency, on behalf of Nali and my behalf, I want to thank you for sparing time off your busy schedule to give a lecture of opportunity to the head teachers from the sub-regions of Lango, Acholi, and West Nile. Your Excellency, this demonstrates the importance you attach to education. Your Excellency, at Nali, we have found the head teachers a wonderful team. A wonderful team who applied themselves very well on the course. Our interaction has been a symbiotic one, for we have also learned a great deal from them. Your Excellency, I believe the lecture of opportunity you'll give will strongly concretize the 9 days package the head teachers have covered at Nali. Your Excellency, the course commenced on 13th August 2022 and ends today, 21st August 2022. As you have already heard, Your Excellency, the participants before you are 300, and among whom 53 are ladies. Your Excellency, as you have heard, the people invited to deliver the lectures and presentations considered the peculiarities of this group and the nature of the younger generation they handle, and also the community in which they live and work. Your Excellency, the course aimed to impart ideological clarity, patriotism, leadership skills, and philosophy to widen their perception about the broad realities of life and how they scope and shape their roles in society as agents of change. The courses offered ranged from Uganda's ideology, mindset transformation, thinking as a tool, the state of Uganda's economy, transformative discipline, methods of work, patriotism ideology, public health in schools, harnessing resources for empowerment and prosperity through pragmatic leadership, national guidance, parish development model, achievements, challenges, and the future of teachers in Uganda, globalization to causes of indiscipline among the students. Your Excellency, we also had time off for skills at arms, physical fitness, and foot drill. Your Excellency, we have a strong belief that the participants have the knowledge and skills to enhance better performance in the execution of their duties. Not only that, they have acquired tools of social analysis, practical techniques for positive mindset, self-confidence, and ability to identify vices that hinder progress and how to overcome them. Your Excellency, allow me to thank Madam Helen Aseku for her resilience and indomitable support during this course. Her down-to-earth approach and measured responses in whatever situation she finds herself define a character. She has been an ace team player. Your Excellency, I'm happy to report that Nali has been identified as one of the large-scale commercial farmers. Previously, Maif gave us a tractor with which we have cleared half a square mile, and we have so far planted 20 acres. We are working closely with the prisons who are supporting us with manpower. Your Excellency, we are not just ideologues, but we'll back ideology with practice. I want to thank you once again, Your Excellency, for supporting us and accepting to come and give a lecture of opportunity. I thank you, Your Excellency, for God and my country. Your Excellency, I now take this singular honor to invite the Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, the First Lady, Mama Janet Kataha Museveni, to deliver her speech. Mama, most welcome.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, dear teachers, the other invited guests present here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome to this day. Mr. President, I want to thank you for making the time on this Sunday afternoon to meet the head teachers gathered here who have been undergoing patriotism training at the National Leadership Institute, Changwanzi. And as a sector, we always appreciate your continued sacrifice to always make the time to guide and support all issues of teachers and the provision of education in our homeland. Thank you. I'm pleased now to welcome all of you head teachers of the Northern Region to this closing ceremony, and I congratulate the head teachers for successfully completing this important training. I note with appreciation that the objective of the training was ideological orientation of head teachers to enable them promote patriotism, values in schools as they interact with their teachers, learners, and community. I'm also happy to note that the 10-day training of 300 teachers drawn from West Nile, Acholi, and Lango covered important topics that we have had here: mindset change, transformative discipline and methods of work, transparency in schools, and financial literacy, among others. It is my hope now that the impact of this training will be translated into action and felt in the schooling system. I thank the NRM Secretary General, Right Honorable Todong, the PSST, Dr. Ramadan Gobi, the PS Education and Sports, Ms. Kate Lamaro, and others who facilitated this training. Mr. President, as you may recall, the education sector faced yet another ugly situation that disrupted learning in government primary and secondary schools in the months of April, May, and June over salary issues, which the representative have just touched on right here. This was a very unfortunate situation given that we had just opened up the schools in January after nearly 2 years of lockdown. The sector was struggling with recovery of lost time and implementing measures to ensure our children are able to progress, only to be hit with this unfortunate situation. Now, this is where this training, I believe, becomes timely and extremely relevant, because our teachers in government schools should have responded to their professional call of first ensuring that the nation's children are catered for as they pursue their interests also. This did not happen, and unfortunately, our teachers chose to abandon the children and pursue their salary interests, which is not patriotic at all. That's why I'm so grateful for this opportunity to listen to you talk about the mindset change that our nation needs, that can only begin with education at the school level, at the community level. I have told teachers whenever I have an opportunity that teachers are not supposed to educate children in classrooms only. Teachers are supposed to educate and disciple communities where they live, where the schools live. What I remember about my childhood education in primary schools in our villages our teachers truly used to disciple communities about agriculture, about hygiene, about nutrition, about those subjects that are so vital for the community survival and the national development. But our teachers these days have become so self-centered, and I can't thank Seku more for truly introducing this under the guidance of the President. But this is what we need throughout the country for all, not just head teachers, for head teachers of our schools, so that our children can have the opportunity of listening to teachers who are also nationalists and patriots. You recall that we opened the schools in January this year, and the first term went well, but as we were trying to consolidate the planned recovery strategy in the second term, that's when our teachers from government schools who continued to receive their salaries during the lockdown last year went on strike over salary issues in groups and forgot to be grateful to government for having sustained them during the crisis of the lockdown. They could not consider giving back at this time when government is facing an economic challenge and cannot meet their demands immediately. This seriously affected the smooth running of last term, and it is my hope now that this term will be smooth to enable the learners complete and transition without further disruption. On the other hand, teachers from our private schools remained teaching, and teaching and learning went on uninterrupted. I want to commend the private schools teachers for this show of professional responsibility, where even in difficult times, we put the children who are our future generation ahead of our own interests. Allow me now to thank you, therefore, Your Excellency, for the opportunity to train these head teachers at Shankwanzi. And I can hear even the language now from the representative. The language has changed to become more nationalistic and more patriotic. And I thank God, I can only thank God for that. Therefore, it is my hope and prayer that this training has yielded the much-needed mindset change to enable our head teachers understand our situation and do their best in the circumstances, putting the country above self and God above all. As we open the schools for the third and final term of this academic year, I want our teachers and head teachers to know that without sacrifices we cannot recover quickly and regain stability in our school system and in our nation in general. We need to always consider making sacrifices where it is necessary so that we uplift all of us as a nation to move together, and how best this can be done at the teaching level. Therefore, I call upon all the teachers and the head teachers to appreciate the economic challenges we are going through and trust that things will improve and we will regain our stability and become even much stronger. I urge you to do your best with what you have and remain hopeful, knowing that the God who gave you that responsibility will not leave you alone and will not want to see you fail. With a positive mindset, it is possible to make things happen even where they appear very difficult or sometimes look impossible. And so at this time of recovery in our education system, we need patriots more than ever before, and we rely on you, our teachers and head teachers, to make things happen to bring back stability in our schooling system. Let us develop love for our country, and together labor selflessly to improve it and lay a strong foundation for our country's future, which is in our children. Let us together endeavor the first think of the country's interests and think about ourselves second or last. I'm very happy that you have gone through this course, and it is my hope that you now appreciate our country more and can understand the circumstances which, under which certain decisions must be made. Therefore, I urge all of you here now to go back and make more patriots, because the more patriots we have in the country, the better our country's progress. There is urgent need to instill the spirit of patriotism in our young generation, and we can only do that if our teachers are empowered. As I conclude, I want to assure you, head teachers and teachers of Uganda, that government recognizes your central role in education and remains committed to working with you to improve both your welfare and quality of education, quality education service delivery. We will continue to do all we can to support your efforts in our joint struggle to recover and stabilize. I must also add that you should include prayer like never before in what you are doing in school. I have been burdened. I have been talking about lack of prayer in schools, especially in government schools. And I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to speak directly to head teachers of government schools that we need prayer in schools to focus our children's minds and their future to knowing and trusting that there is a God in heaven, there is a God in the world, that they learn to pray, to take their interests, to take their desires, to take their needs to God in prayer. That is a place where education of values and Christian values should be founded in schools. Please don't forget that component of our education system. And your representative here talked about the abuse of drugs, of alcohol in schools. That is a major problem now. And we can only fight those problems in schools through teachers and head teachers. Head teachers must know that this is a problem in this country. We have enemies of Uganda who pay people to bring drugs in this country and take the drugs to our children. And we need teachers to be aware and to be the eyes of our communities in schools to try and find out what children are doing so that we can fight this drug abuse. The other day we had a meeting here, and we were shocked to hear that the majority of sick people in Butabika are children who are drug addicts. And they are leaving schools, and they are now at Butabika being treated for drug addiction. Please take a lot of interest in these problems. Even when schools are day schools, you can see what children are doing in school and communicate what you see, what you observe to the parents, so that together we can fight these problems and change our schools. Let us make time also, as I said, to pray for transformation of ourselves and our education system in general. God has power to lead us. There are indeed, God can lead us anywhere, indeed. I believe we will be able to change these problems together and not long from now. We must do it now. I wish all of you all the best as you translate what you have learned into action and a safe travel to your next destination. It is now my honor to invite our president to address the head teachers. I thank you and God bless you.
The Honorable Minister of Education, the Commandant Kiankwanzi, the Private Secretary for the Youth, the staff of Kiankwanzi, and the head teachers who are on the course. First of all, I want to thank Helen Seku, because she's the one who proposed to me this approach of going through the head teachers. And then I supported it. She's the one who brought it. Don't look down upon small people. You may look at a tiny person and she has got ideas better than big people. Many years ago, it must be like 15 or 20 years, when we started the patriotism clubs in schools. I don't remember when we started, but you can check. Because I saw the gap. When I was in the secondary school system at Nali, we had like 400 students in the 1960s. But these days, when you go to some of the secondary schools, like Masaka SS, you find there are 4,000 students in one school. And these are teenagers mainly. It is therefore not correct to have this big number of Ugandans not knowing what is happening in the country. That's when I proposed that we start patriotism clubs in secondary schools. And I think it was through ISO, they identified some teachers, a teacher in every secondary school, whom we trained in patriotism, the similar exposure. And then we had a secretariat of patriotism in the president's office. I don't know whether are they represented here? The Patriotism Club of the President's Office. They should be. But when Seku came, Seku was one of my sponsors. When I was contesting for president last year, I had to get some they are called Abema in the Bantu dialect. The godparents, when you go for baptism, you must get godparents. So when you are contesting for president, you must get, they are like guarantors or what, I don't know what they call them, sponsors. So Sekou was one of them. Well, she's a very big person. She's the one who sponsored me. Together with who?
With Nasur Gaddafi.
Nasur Gaddafi, and there was another girl?
Lukanga Amina.
You are how many?
Firisa.
You are 3?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Lukanga Amina is now RDC Kampala. So, after the elections, I was discussing with them how to reach the youth in the schools, because in the secondary schools, the youth are now like 2 million in the secondary schools. In the primary schools, they're about 10 million or something like that. But the ones in the secondary schools are slightly mature, and it would be a good group to help know how to relate. So it is Sekou who said, no, let's take the bull by the horns. Because the problem in the schools is that head teachers, they are the ones confusing everybody. So we said, okay, let's take the bull by the horns. Let's go for the trouble causers. The ones who are causing confusion and disorientation, or not helping at all, just staying aloof. So therefore, I'm very glad. I think it is an easier way than working with the junior people in the school system, the teachers, without the involvement of the head teachers. So I think this is a better plan. Now, you have heard the lectures from the people who talk to you. And I have done a lot of writing. Everything we are talking about has been written down. And I would like my staff, these are 300 head teachers, you could make sure that each one gets a package of 5 publications, which they know, or Mona knows those publications, which I have written concerning all these topics. And in the documents I have written, I cover the 4.5 million years in which the human being has been here on earth. The human being started evolving out of the Homo sapiens sapien, the primates, which were like human beings, 4.5 million years ago. And when you read those documents, those books and booklets, you will see how man has evolved in that 4.5 million years. But for today, I will simply remind you of the 4 NRM principles. These principles, we summarized them after a long study, and we summarized them as patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. So when you hear that this is NRM, how is it different from DP, for instance, or from UPC, It is because for us, we say our diagnosis of our society and prescription need to be the four principles: patriotism, love Uganda; Pan-Africanism, love Africa; socio-economic transformation. Society must change from the traditional work or culture mea chon to culture manyen. Because that's what this is the third principle. Other people beat about the bush, what? If you don't do that, you are not going to succeed. You shall be in a lot of trouble. You are teachers, you should be knowing this, but one doesn't know why it's not very clear. Europe was like us. You know the history of Europe. By the time of Jesus, when Jesus was here on earth, Europe was under the Roman Empire. That is why, when you read in the Bible, you will see that it was Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate is the one who allowed Jesus to be hanged. And who was Pontius Pilate? He was a Roman governor of Palestine, of what is now Israel. Now, the Roman Empire survived for another 450 years after the death of Jesus. And then it collapsed. The Roman Empire collapsed both in Palestine, but also in Rome itself, and was replaced by barbarism, anarchy, for 1,000 years. From 450 AD to about 1,400 AD. That's when you start now hearing again about the Renaissance. That word Renaissance, the rebirth of knowledge. And by the time of the Renaissance, Europe was backward. People were living as peasants. It was a three-class society. You had the feudalists, the kings and the feudal lords. You had the artisans, the blacksmith and so on. And then you had the peasants, the small farmers. So they were like us. But in the last 600 years, they have undergone socio-economic transformation. If you go to the time of the French Revolution in 1789, that's why I like that European history. It's good, although it's about Europe, but it helps you to understand the social metamorphosis. You know that process in biology where the same organism metamorphoses, changes from one form to another form, the same organism, like the butterfly. goes from egg to caterpillar to pupa to mature butterfly. It's the same organism, same, but different forms of life. So, if you go to the time of the Renaissance, you'll find that a country like France had 3 classes, social classes. And what does a social class mean? It means a group in society who survive in the same way. Like, for instance, by the time of the Renaissance, you had the feudalists. How were the feudalists surviving? They were surviving by taking rent from the peasants. They own land, the peasants who own that land pay them rent, of usuru, as they call it in Uganda here, and in the Bantu dialects. The peasants stay on the land they don't own. The land is owned by the feudalists. But for the peasants to use the land, when they produce 4 bags of maize, they must surrender 1 or 2 to the landlord so that he allowed them to stay on that land. So you have the feudalists living on rent from the tenants. And then the artisans, for them, they make tools like blacksmith, they make hoes, they make spears, they make pangas, and also pay rent to the feudal lords and keep the rest for themselves. So that's what we call social classes. People who live in the same way. Now, when you come to 1789, France is a good example because that's where we had a clear case. By that time, the European society has metamorphosed. Instead of 3 classes, you now have 4 classes. And what are they? You still have the feudalists, the ones who monopolize the ownership of land. They are still there. And you still have the peasants who live on the land of the feudalists and pay rent of usuru. Those are 2 classes. But now you have got 2 new classes which did not exist in human history. And these are the middle class. The middle class. The other artisans, the artisans of 1400 have grown. They have been accumulating money, capital. They are now no longer artisan, they are now middle class. What we call in French the bourgeoisie. You must have been hearing those words, the bourgeoisie. And how are the bourgeoisie living? They have brought a new way of life in human history. This is living on profits. Profits. Remember, the landlord was living on rent from people. the artisan was getting paid for what he produced after the landlord has taken away the rent and so on. But this one now, this is a new group of human people who live. Long ago at Chamate Primary School in the 1950s, they put it a bit better. They said, when you buy something at the buying price and you go and sell it to somebody else at the selling price, the difference between the buying price and the selling price is the profit. Is profit. So, the bourgeoisie now, we are living on something they call profit. He does something, he buys inputs, buys this, buys that. He spends 10 shillings and produces something which he sells at 20 shillings. The difference between the input price and the selling price is the profit. So this is a new group. They are living on profit. And they are a new group called the middle class, or another word for them is the bourgeoisie. Then they now create another class which didn't exist before. Because they are having businesses, they employ people. They employ people. Because if he's having like a maize mill, a maize processing factory, the maize mill belongs to me. But I employ 50 people to run the machine, to carry the gunny bags, to run around. So this is a new group of people. How do they live? They live by wages. I pay them a salary. They are now called the working class. In French, they were called the proletariat. So, by 1789, the French society had evolved from a 3-class society to a 4-class society. The bourgeoisie living on profits, the proletariat living on wages, the feudalists living on rent, the peasants living on their sweat minus what their landlord took. That's the structure of the society of France and Europe by 1789. If you go to Europe today, you will no longer find the peasants. Peasants are no longer there. If you go to France and you say, I'm looking for a peasant for medicine, there is somebody who is suffering from cancer. They have told me that if I get a peasant, the man will be cured. The man will die because the peasant is no longer there. Europe now has become a 2-class society. Also, the feudalists have disappeared. The other ones who were living on rent. So what you have now are the bourgeoisie, the big manufacturers, the big hotel owners, the big, and the skilled working class. You have now a 2-class society. So the problem of Africa has been perpetual, to have a peasant producing a peasant. This is the crisis of Africa. Yeah. Somebody was a peasant, and the peasants of Africa were different from the ones of Europe. Because remember, Africa is a very huge continent. Africa is 12 million square miles. It is 12 times the size of India. You can fit India into Africa 12 times. And yet India, until recently, has been having a bigger population than Africa. Indian population has been 1.4 billion. I think ours has been about 1.2 billion. But now we are about to overtake them. So you can imagine a land mass 12 times bigger than India, but with a much smaller population than India. So here in Africa, you have a lot of land. Ngom tie maduong. So the problem is not land. It's not like in Europe. Here in Buganda, the British tried to introduce that nonsense here. In Buganda here, the landlord, Bibanja, there's some little problem like that. But in much of Uganda, it's not, the issue is not land. The issue is the culture of teach, may each, keken. Now, who can put that for me I put it in Luo. Who will put it in Rugbara? Where you only work for the stomach, only. Come on the microphone. In Rugbara and then in Madi.
My name is Danny S.K. Johnson, coordinator Arua West Nile. In Ilugbara, we call it Kalutilia. Kalutilia, hand to mouth. Kalutile. Kalutilia.
Kalupilie. Our the four.
Our the four.
And Madi.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. My name is Amadi Michael. In Madi, that is translated as Ebuideka nya ani. A is the stomach.
Ebuikan what? Ebuikan?
Ebuideka nya ani.
Ebuika enya ani.
Ebuideka. Ebuideka nya ani.
You write it for me. Now, but in Luo, somebody come and say it very well, because I may not be saying it very well. Teach me each keken, somebody who can improve it. It is perfect.
Asante sana.
So that's really the problem. Teach me each keken. Teach is work. Each is stomach. Keken is only. That's the problem. Because what you are doing is that the human being has got many needs. Some needs are food needs. So if you produce muhogo, cassava, marukwang, millet, good. You solve the problem of the each. But that was in the olden days. In these days, you have got needs other than each needs. You need a good house. You need clothing. You need water in your house instead of going to the well. You need electricity in your house instead of firewood. You need medical care. The children we have been still paying for children to study. You need transport instead of walking. So those are needs that are not each needs. So how would you solve them if you don't earn money? That's where the problem is. That's why we must now have, because in the past, you would get this person doing everything himself. He produces his own food. He can go and collect his own firewood from the forest. He can go and, his children can go and bring water from the river. He can go and get a herb for medicine. He can build his own house, his own hut. He cuts the poles and the grass. So he was a jack of all trades. But now, you can no longer do that. You can no longer build a permanent house yourself. You must get somebody to build the house for you. You cannot make electricity for yourself. You must buy electricity from the electricity company. The water, if it is to come from the river, must be brought by the water company. So how will you pay them? That's why we must talk of social economic transformation. The society must change. And the production methods must change. So you must now produce for the stomach, but also for the pocket. Hence, principle number 3 of the NRM. Now, when you produce for the stomach and the pocket, because during colonialism, they would make our people do a little bit of that. They would come and say, you grow cotton. Because the colonial system needed cotton, they tell you to grow cotton or to grow coffee. And sometimes they even use chiboko. That's why coffee here is called chiboko. Robusta was called chiboko because people were beaten to produce coffee. But like cotton, for instance, like in West Nile, people grow tobacco. But there's a lot of poverty. Why? Because you must not only teach, each, and also for the pocket, but you must do so with chura. With chura. I know this in Lugbara, Otita. You must calculate what they call it in the Bantu dialects, Echibaro. And how do you calculate? First of all, you find out how much land you have. How much land does the family have? What is the average land holding in West Nile? If you have got, that's why my daughter, the head teacher of Laro Tie Kwene, come and tell me where Laro is. Mama, you heard what our daughter was saying, that she has got a school, she's stuck with the school. She's stuck with the school. She has got a school which is not coded, which does not have teachers. The school has become a problem for her. How many children do you have there?
Thank you, Your Excellency. After COVID, only 87 came back.
Okay.
But La Rose Seed Secondary School is in Gulu City,
Kwene, which side?
Peche La Rose Division.
Or Peche?
Yes, Your Excellency.
On the eastern side?
Yes.
Southeastern?
On the way towards Gulu University.
Okay.
But we have the teachers, Your Excellency, and we are teaching quite well.
And how many were there before?
Before COVID, we had 156.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And why is it not coded?
We are waiting for government. We have the land, we have the teachers, we have the students.
What does coding mean? What does it mean to?
Your Excellency, coding means the government comes, puts the teachers on government payroll, starts paying the salaries of the teachers, starts supporting the school with all the other equipment that it does support with the other government schools, and importantly, constructs the classroom blocks.
So what is there as a seed school now?
We are occupying currently some old classroom blocks that were used initially by the displaced schools during the war. But when the war ended,
they just declared a school without putting their infrastructure.
Your Excellency, when the government advised that all divisions in municipalities without government secondary schools should open seed schools, La Road division in Gulu municipality then took us there because those classroom blocks were empty.
Okay, it's like a community school first, then to be taken over. Okay.
Correct.
Apoyo.
Thank you, sir.
Apoyo Nyara.
And we are waiting. Afoy Mate.
This is not a Nyara, this is a Rakwara. This is a Rakwara. How old are your parents?
Your Excellency, Muzee Semeyo Kui, that you know very well, the former RDC,
yes,
is now 78 years old.
Oh, that's my brother. This is a Nyara now. That's my brother.
And Mommy is 68.
Those are my group.
Yes, sir.
Apoyo?
Afoy Mate.
So Ebu Ideka Ani. This is mad now for working only for the stomach. So the revolution which we must make is that, number one, all families who have land must work for the stomach, but also the pocket. But do so with chura, with otita. Like, for instance, let's take the tobacco, West Nile. Somebody who knows something about tobacco, come and tell us, how much do you get in terms of money from 1 acre in a year? How much do you get? Tobacco.
Your Excellency, my name is Egama Sam Adrapi from Terego district. From 1 acre, somebody can earn about 1.5 million, which becomes almost the equivalent of the production cost.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So the 1.5 million gross total before you deduct the cost?
Yes, sir.
So when you deduct the cost?
There's almost nothing they are getting.
So you can now see where the poverty is. Our default. So you can see where the problem of leadership is. This, from 1995, I have been begging you people, Uganda, your parents, to change. They think as if I'm doing it for myself or what. In 1998, when we came from the bush, before we went to the bush, during UPC time, I had done some experiments in my area there. We were interrupted by Amin. We went and fought, came back, 86. I resumed my experiments. Now, by 1989, I knew what to do. And 1995, I made a countrywide tour where I was telling your parents what to do, exactly what I'm telling you now. That's what I was telling them. But they are not bothered. They think that Museveni is, I don't know what they think. They think Museveni either wants to come and sleep in our houses or what. They are not bothered. Then they have got leaders who tell them different things, so they ignore. But from 1995, we have been telling you that to get out of Chan, you need to go from poor Machon to poor Manyen. I've been telling you this, telling you, all of Ugandans this. Go from old way to new way. Go from working for teach me each keken, teach me each plus the pocket. Work for the pocket also. But also do so with chura or tita. Because if you don't work, if you only work for the stomach, you will never get out of poverty. That one I've already shown it to you. Because if you work only for the stomach, you will solve the stomach needs, but you will not solve the problem of the house, you will not solve the problem of the clothing, you will not solve the problem of electricity, you will not solve the problem of water, you will not solve the problem of transport. But even when you listen to the colonial people and you grow cotton or tobacco like these ones of West Nile, you do so without chura, you will not get out of poverty. No, you have heard. Okay, the man who told us, come back again, the teacher, the head teacher, the one who told us, the one from Terego. What is the average land holding in Terego and other parts of West Nile? Average land holding per family?
We actually don't have land. The population in West Nile, to be sincere, has gone up. You will find a family having just small plots, maybe about 2 to 3 acres.
Okay. Okay, let's say 2 acres. Our default.
Yes, sir.
So now, you heard what Inyara was saying here, the one from Lalo, the 4 acres model. The 4 acres model, I brought it in the campaign of 1996. We put it in the manifesto. Because I had already studied and seen that land fragmentation, because of ignorance in inheritance and lack of advice by the leaders, Whenever somebody has got 10 acres, as a family, he dies, he's going to heaven or hell, wherever he will go, we don't know. But when he's dying, he creates another hell here on earth. He says, I'm dying, but my land, which is 10 acres, I have got 5 sons, the girls are not counted. They only count boys. I have got 5 sons, they should divide it equally. So which means a land which was 10 acres has now become 2 acres, 2 acres, 2 acres. So I saw this danger in the 1996 campaign. I said, we'll put it in the manifesto. I said, you people, you are going to get poorer and poorer because you are misusing this resource. But from where we are now, let's assume that the land fragmentation has already taken place and that you have got 4 acres. That's how I brought the 4 acres model. I said, in order to do the chura, the otita, I made a research, studied all enterprises, and recommended the 7 activities where you could do them on a smaller scale but get good money. 1 acre, put either colonial coffee or Arabic coffee. Acre 2, you put fruits like oranges or mangoes or pineapple, or in the case of West Nile, which is a bit cold, you could put even apples. Apples, you would get much more money. Acre 3, you put food crop. You put like cassava for the home, for each, for the stomach. Acre 4, you put pasture for zero grazing cows. You can have 8 of them in the shed, and they can give you about 40, 50 liters of milk a day. Then in the backyard, you put poultry for eggs. You put piggery. And if you are near the river, like the ones near the river Nile, in the valley of the Nile, you do fish farming. With fish farming, you can get good money. And if you did that, actually you could get quite a bit of money, because from coffee you get more than 10 million instead of the 1.5 of tobacco. You get like 10 million, then you get like more than 10 million in each of those activities which I have mentioned. But stop land fragmentation now. No more fragmenting of the 4 acres now to smaller plots, even when you die. When you die, give the children shares. Let them not physically divide the land, let them give them shares. If we are 5 of us, the land remains together. We use it in the way the NRM has recommended. Let's say we get about 100 million shillings from the coffee, from the fruits, from those activities. And we say 40 million is for costs, for labor, for chemicals, and we remain with 60 million. Now, this 60 million, we can divide it, it should be the one we share, so that each one of us gets about 12 million, which is now his own money, separate from the family company money. Then he can go and accumulate his money and have his own property. So you can have the family property producing successor properties of the children by not destroying the base which the parent left. We put it in the manifesto 1996. What I'm telling you. But people are not bothered with this. Oh yeah. They think politics is just shouting and telling lies and using religion and using tribes and what. You are deceiving yourselves. You will end up in a real crisis. Because for us, NRM, we are telling you the truth. If you don't do it, God will absolve us because it is written down. We wrote it down. So therefore, that's why the first medicine to get rid of poverty is to use the 4 acres model. If you no longer have the 4 acres, see what you can do with what you have. What they have done in Fort Portal, because they no longer have the 4 acres, what they decided to do in one of the parishes is for them to concentrate on dairy zero grazing and poultry, because those don't require a lot of land. You can have a small area, you put there pigs, chicken, you produce a lot of eggs, but you buy food for the chicken from other people because you can no longer produce it yourself. And here, you can see we are using what we call intensive agriculture. You can hear, Nyara, when he was talking about the 4 acres model, it can't apply to you. You don't go for that yet. If you want to produce food near the school, then you need, the food that can be produced is maize. And maize, is somebody producing maize in your area? Are there people who know production of maize? Come and tell us. I see a hand there. Come and tell us the chura.
Yes, Your Excellency. I'm by the names of Tim Patrick, head teacher there to Senior Secondary School Lira. In our school, we have 5-acre land. And in the 5-acre land, since the area suffered some bit of dry spell, we cleared part of the land and we grew vegetable on one side, that is about 1 acre. And then the remaining 4 acres, we used it for producing maize for the school.
And how much are you, if you are to sell the maize per acre, how much are you per acre per annum?
With the current price of food, this year we earned 10 million.
From 1 acre?
Because...
From 1 acre?
No, not 1 acre. The entire field.
Okay, the 3 acres?
Yes, 4 acres.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So each one is like 2 million?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. Now you can see, yes, if it is for the school, no problem. But if it is for the family, I wouldn't recommend maize for the people with smaller piece of land. That's why we need to make a difference between intensive agriculture versus extensive agriculture. Do you have my marpa kuandika? Meileta. That's why you must distinguish the people with small pieces of land must use intensive agriculture, meaning you use a small piece of land, but you get more value from it. Then it is different from extensive agriculture. Extensive agriculture, you had our man from Terego telling us that for tobacco, you'll get 1.5 million from 1 acre in a year. But if I have got 10 acres, that means I will get 15 million. If I've got 100 acres, I will get 150 million. If I've got 1,000 acres, I will get 1.5 billion. So actually I can get good money from tobacco, but I need to do it on a big scale. That's where the chura comes in. Yeah. What strategy do you use, depending on the land you have? If you have got a small piece of land, you go for intensive agriculture. The other things which you do on a small scale, but you get more money. If you have got big land, then you go for the, you can do both. You can do both intensive, but also extensive agriculture, like in this case, tobacco, where you get 1.5 million in 1 acre, but because you are doing many acres, you get good money. This is the message of the NRM. Go from teach me each keken, go to teach me each plus working for the pocket, but to do so with chura. And in order to do that, you distinguish between intensive and extensive agriculture. This is point number 1, commercial agriculture. You go for commercial agriculture. But there are other sectors where you can earn money. You can also earn money from manufacturing. If you own a maize mill, you own a rice huller, you own a milk cooler, you do work pardon, facing that way. Yeah. But that's enough. Then you can also get wealth from there. Now, from manufacturing, from factories. So this is the second sector. Therefore, so as you can see there, our medicine for people to get out of poverty, for wealth creation and jobs. Stop working for the stomach only, work for the stomach and the pocket, and do so with chura, with otita. And in order to do that, when it comes to agriculture, you use, if it is a small piece of land, you use intensive agriculture. If it is a big piece of land, you can use both intensive but also extensive agriculture, because you will make money. And in so doing, you create wealth for yourself, but you also create jobs, because you know the children you are teaching, you need jobs. The children you are teaching, you need jobs. Where will the jobs come from? Some ignorant people misinform the public and tell them that the jobs will come from the government. The government cannot have enough jobs. All the government workers together are 480,000 in the whole country. The population is 43 million. So how can 480,000 jobs solve the problem of the country? How have other countries in the world solved this problem? You go and check on the internet. How many people in UK or in USA are working for the government? And how many are working in the factories and in the hotels, in the private sector? The big number are working in the private sector, not in the government. So when you go from working for the stomach only and working for the stomach and the pocket, you will create wealth for yourself, but also create jobs for people, other people who are not members of your family. That is in agriculture, sector 1. Sector 2, industries. So, now that I've been joined by, no, hold that, somebody hold that thing. Hello, muta shikeri kitu. Now that I've been joined by head teachers, we're really going to get our people from Nino. Nino, matek. What do we call sleeping in Lugubara? O2? I know more Luo than Lugubara. O2? O-2? T-U? D-U? O-D-U? O-do? O-do? Odu. Our the 4.
Our the 4. Indeed.
So you, the head teachers, are going to get our people from Nino is sleeping, and what do you call sleep itself? Nino is sleep or sleepy? Both. So you need to get our people from Nino. Where is wealth and jobs to be found? Where is the address of wealth? If you want to be rich, where do you go? NRM has been telling you from 1995 that the addresses are 4. Number 1, commercial agriculture. But there, you must use chura, otita. Second address, manufacturing. Third address, services like hotel, transport. Teaching, working for the government is also a service provider. Medical, lawyer, that's his services. And then finally, ICT. And if we do that, you will now get the society change, socio-economic transformation. Through business will change people. Instead of staying in grass huts, they will stay in better houses. Instead of using firewood, they will use electricity. Instead of going to the river to collect water, they will use piped water. You will get socio-economic transformation. And people will start earning, some will start earning salaries because they have got jobs. Others will be earning profits because they are running businesses. Like what happened in Europe. So, this is the third principle of the NRM. Social, but education is also an element in socio-economic transformation. But the right type of education, because the problem we have is that people have been having colonial education. Education to make you clerks. How can everybody be a clerk? To work in the office, white-collar jobs. If you are all clerks, what will you record? Because clerks will record something. But if all the people become clerks, no farmer, no manufacturer, what will you record? That's why you see in Africa, people are running away what they call a cheyo, to go and work abroad. To go and work as houseboys, house girls abroad. Because here people are not creating enough jobs. Everybody wants to be a clerk. If we all become clerks, working in offices, what shall we record? Because a clerk records something. So many goats, so many what? Now, we don't have goat farmers, people are just in office. What will the clerks record? So this is not just education, it is the right type of education. Education around wealth and job creation in the 4 sectors. But once you get that, then it will help you also to deal with other issues. If you go to Lamo, where I was some weeks ago, some months ago, you find people there are producing simsim in Lamo, Paddy Bay and so on. But they are all producing simsim. Okero is producing simsim. Ochora is producing simsim. Okero cannot buy from Okero. Okero cannot buy from Ochora because they are producing the same product, the simsim. So who would buy the simsim? People to buy the simsim are the people of Kampala. When I was in Lamo, that's what I found that people were, the simsim was being produced but being consumed in Kampala. So therefore, when it comes to prosperity, the people of Kampala are supporting the people of Lamo more than the people of Lamo supporting themselves. Why? Because the people of Lamo are producing the same product. They can't buy from one another. They are producing, yes, but they can't buy from one another. The ones who can buy from them are the people of Kampala. And that's why it becomes that's why Uganda becomes very important. Uganda as a country becomes very important for the people of Lamo, people of Acholi. If you go to Ankole, all the Banyankole, they are all cattle owners. They have bananas. The neighbor is producing milk, the other one is producing milk. This one cannot buy from the other one, the other one cannot buy from this one. Who are the people who buy from them and who support their prosperity? If you come to Raitura and you find me and Mama have built a good house there, it is not because of the Banyankwere, because the Banyankwere don't buy our milk. They don't buy our beef. They don't buy our bananas, because they also have the same. The houses were built there are from the money from Kampala. People who buy our milk, who buy our beef, who buy our bananas. So that's why NRM says, please, you people, those people who tell you about we as Banyankwere, we as Achoris, we as Baganda, those are shaitani. Those are satans. They are stepping in our plate. Uganda is the one which is supporting our prosperity because it has got a bigger market. Uganda can solve our problems better than our tribal areas. So that's why the NRM says, please, patriotism is very important for you because you need it for your prosperity. But as production increases, you'll find that even Uganda is not enough. Like now, with milk, there's so much milk, the internal market is not enough. Sugarcane, the same. Maize, before the drought, the internal market was not enough. So, that's why we need now Pan-Africanism. We need the market of East Africa. And that's what NRM is telling you. Some people are telling you about tribes, about religion. For us, we say, no, please. After socio-economic transformation, Uganda is the most important for you to get where you sell your product. But even Uganda is not enough. You need East Africa. You need Africa. Hence, patriotism, Pan-Africanism. All these things are written down in detail. Here, I'm just giving you a summary. You can take away that thing. Now, coming to the, so you read Omona. This is a very easy job for me because these are educated people. They know how to read. You give them those packages of those books, and they read more. Now, coming to some of the issues raised, the issue of the salaries. The issue of the salaries will be sorted out. It's just because we can't do everything at the same time because of lack of resources. But the intention is clear. We started with the science teachers, not because they are more important than other people, but we needed them immediately because you see how has the country come up? The country has come up because of what I'm telling you, because of creating wealth and jobs. Who have created wealth? If you look around, they are the farmers, they have done something. Like the coffee production has gone up, which is now 8 million bags. The factories have increased, produce factory goods. Now, all those immediately need backup of scientists. Immediately. The coffee needs agricultural scientists. Milk needs veterinary. Maize needs agricultural. In order for the goods to come from Gulu to come here, we have the roads and the railway. And we need the electricity for the factories. All those need scientists, they need engineers. And when those are there, those production lines give us taxes. We are able to tax. And the more we have, the better. So it is just a question of what do you need immediately now. I am now here. Doesn't mean that this is the only important place in Uganda. There are other places where I could be, but now I had to be here. And in order to do that, they arranged for me here. Because that's where I had to be. So when we say, let's start with the scientists, because they are needed immediately, it doesn't mean that other people are not, other teachers are not important, or other public servants. It's just indiscipline. And trying to say everybody are the same, it's not possible. If we try to do everybody, we shall not manage. We shall simply sprinkle small. There's Onek told me about sprinkling. Polo, is it polo? Huh? Polo. Huh?
Sprinkling. Foro.
P-O?
P. Quiero P. Sprinkling. Foro.
Meaning, how do you spell it?
P-W-O-R-O.
P-W-O-R-O. Oh, poro.
Poro.
Yes. So poro will not solve anything. Let's deal with the one group, we consolidate it, and then next time we add another group. Because when you poro, you don't solve any problem. It's better you solve a problem of A, tomorrow you solve a problem of B, like that. If you poro, you solve nobody. Nobody is stable. They are all still waiting. So that's why we said no, poro is not the correct way. Let's deal with the ones we need now. Immediately, we are all needed, but the one who must be there now. When your wife is pregnant, you take him to the midwife. Does it mean the midwife is more important than everybody? But he's the one who is needed at that time. This is the discipline of prioritization. So the rest is written down. I thought I should just thank again the organizers. And I have heard we shall call all the other head teachers in turns. They will come, all of them in the whole country. Then after going around, I will call you again. We shall go to Chankwazi for bull roasting. Apoyo Matek, Awadefo, Manzora.
Thank you, Your Excellence, for the lecture of opportunity, which have handled the principles of ideology, which includes Pan-Africanism, patriotism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. Thank you also for handling the area of enterprise selection, which includes Echivaro, either having the intensive or extensive agriculture. Then lastly, the four sectors of Uganda's economy: the commercial agriculture, the industrialization, the service sector, and ICT. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for sparing time to come and lecture the head teachers who have been eagerly waiting for you from the time they arrived at Nali. I also want to thank the First Lady and the Minister, Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, for that wonderful lecture. I realized that all participants were busy taking the notes, a sign that they were attentive and are going to put into action what you advised them on or what you told them. Thank you so much for that wonderful lecture. Now, next on the program is going to be the anthem, one stanza in a reverse order. And thereafter, we'll go to the last item on today's program, which is a photo of opportunity. And we are going to do it in regions. Those who are going to sit the front line on the left of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, will be the First Lady and Honorable Minister of Education. On the left, followed by Director Nali, Brigadier General Charles Kisembo, and Private Secretary, the President in charge of Youth Affairs. Then on the right, we are going to have the three leaders of the region, Rango Sub-Region, Acholi Sub-Region, and Western Nile Sub-Region. And Sister, who led the prayer for gender balance. So when the time comes, you will sit in that arrangement. Then behind, we are going to start with Rango Sub-Region, who will be the first to take the photo of opportunity with HE, the President of the Republic of Uganda, followed by Acholi Sub-Region, and lastly, West Nile Sub-Region. I request you to rise up and we sing the anthem. One stanza in a reverse order. E Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu zote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. E Uganda, Mungu imarisha, twakupa ujao wetu kwa umoja na uhuru, tusimame imara. Thank you, Your Excellency. Now the last item will be the photo of opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Others, you can take your seat. the director Nali, the private secretary, the president, the leaders, the region's 3 leaders, and the sister, 3, always 3. Then we are going to start with Rango sub-region. We'll be seated behind, we are going to stand behind Rango sub-region. And you raise up, you move forward. The head teachers are so grateful for you, Your Excellence, and the First Lady for giving them this lifetime opportunity. They have been waiting for this moment.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and the ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show. Because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted.